He woke in the storm, and a woman in white was bending over his friend, breathing on him. In a village at the foot of the mountains there lived two woodcutters. Old Mosaku, who had cut wood there all his life, and Minakichi, who was 18 and worked at his side. One winter evening they were coming home from the forest when the snow began. Not the soft kind. It came down sideways off the peaks until they could not see the path under their own feet. They made for the river, but the ferryman had gone and taken his boat with him, and the water ran black and half frozen between the banks. There was no way over. On the far side of the crossing stood the ferryman's hut, one room of dark boards with no window and no fire. They pushed the door shut behind them and were glad of it. They lay down in their straw capes with the storm shaking the walls. Old Mosaku fell asleep at once. Minakichi lay along while listening to the snow before he went under. Something woke him. The door stood wide open, and snow was blowing in across the floor, and the room was full of a strange white light. A woman was there, very tall, all in white, with long black hair, and she was bending down low over old Mosaku, close to his face. Her breath went out of her like white smoke. Where it touched him the frost crawled up over his beard and over his eyes, and the old man stopped moving altogether. Then she turned, very slowly, and came across the floor to Minakichi, and leaned down until her hair hung against his cheek. He could not move. He could not make a sound. She looked at him for a long time. Then she said that she had meant to do to him what she had done to the other one, but that he was young, and she found she could not. "But you must never tell," she said. "Not one word to anybody living, not even to your own mother. If you ever speak of me, I will know it, and I will come for you." She stood up and went out into the storm, and the door banged shut behind her. Minakichi lay in the dark until the cold took him under. In the morning the ferryman found the door open and a young man half frozen beside an old one who was dead. Minakichi was ill a long time, and he told nobody what he had seen. The next winter he was walking home along the road at dusk when he came up behind a girl traveling alone, and she fell into step with him. Her name was Oyuki. She said her people were dead and she was walking to the capital to look for work. Her voice was as pleasant as a bird's, and her face was very pale. He asked her in out of the cold, and his mother liked her, and somehow she never went on to the capital at all. Before the spring came they were married. She was a wonder in that house. She was up before the fire and awake after the lamp, and she bore him children, pale and strong and handsome, and the village said Minakichi had been born lucky. Only one thing was strange. The other women of the village grew heavy and grey and cracked their hands in the winter water. Oyuki did not. After 10 years she was exactly as she had been on the road. One night the children were asleep, and she sat sewing by the paper lamp, and he looked up at her with the light on her face and felt something turn over in him. He said, "Seeing you there like that makes me think of a thing that happened to me when I was 18. I saw somebody as beautiful and as white as you are. I have never told anyone." And he told her. The hut by the river, the door blowing open, the tall woman in white, and old Mosaku frozen where he lay. The needle stopped. Oyuki stood up over him, and her face was changing as she came, and her voice came out of her like wind under a door. "That was I," she said. "I told you I would kill you if you ever said one word of it. If it were not for the children asleep in there, I would kill you now. Take good care of them. If they ever have cause to complain of you, I will know it." Even as she spoke she was going thin and white, and she went up as a bright mist through the smoke hole in the roof, and was never seen again. Minakichi raised the children alone, and he never once spoke of the snow. Like, comment, subscribe, and watch the next tale.